If you can go ahead and get the send the link over to Facebook. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Um, Good evening, everyone. My name is Darren Lee Calhoun II. I'm the Facilities Outreach and Public Programming Coordinator for the Avery Research Center for African American History and Culture. Um, I appreciate everyone stopping in for this very important conversation that we're having today regarding the East Side community with a very important person that we're in the East Side. This is LaTonya Gamble. This event would not have happened without the amazing outreach from um, the Low Country Action Committee, as well as the the East Side Community Development Corporation, as well as with the Avery Research Center. It is our mission as we move forward with the Avery, and as it has been in the past, to always connect with the communities who made us who we are. And one of those communities would be the East Side community. As of right now, we have some issues going on over on the East Side with the rampant gentrification and the removal of our residents who've been here for a long time. And it's our moral obligation to go ahead and you know sound the alarm to get everything going forward. And we believe in this whole month of May, that Avery, along with the Low Country Action Committee, will be working with the ECDC to bring on different programming to look at what's going on the East Side, how our residents on the East Side can protect themselves and from any type of predatory any type of predatory events that's going on right now, as well as preserving the family history. And to do that, with our very first event will be today with, like I mentioned earlier, Ms. LaTonya Gamble, the CEO of am I correct in saying the CEO of the Eastside Community Development Corporation. We are very proud to have her here, and basically this will be a conversation. This conversation will talk about her life growing up on the East Side, being on the East Side, and staying on the East Side with Kepler there. And we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the East Side, as well as where do we see the East Side going in the future. The Charleston East Side is a very desirable spot for developers right now. And we want to keep it for the families who were born, raised, and plan to still be there. So first and foremost, thank you for coming on with us. I really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive right in and just give us a little background about yourself, where you grew up, the schools you went to. Let's start off with a short biography of the great Mrs. Gamble.
Wow, so I was born on the projects or the housing authority at 785 A East Bay Street. Went to Standish Clyde Elementary, Courtney Middle, and Burke High School. Left for a while, went to Mears Art School of Design and then FIT, and then came back home. Got a job for a major airline and came back home, and I've always been a part of my East Side community.
Okay.
So I love this community because I came back because I remember the people growing up. I do so much for St. Julian Divine because it's a special place for me. I would think that it kept me out of the streets and it gave me something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And we keep using this word community. We know the East Side has a very deep cultural heritage to it. So as you were growing up, can you talk a little bit more about that community that helped raise you? You mentioned you grew up inside of those projects and whatnot, and the housing authority, excuse me. So tell us more about that community, being on the East Side, going back and forth over the Sanders Clyde to Burke and every.
I think what was great about community back then is that it seemed like everyone cared, even on the housing authority, as you call it. Our neighbors kind of watched out for you. You could be outside during nighttime, and they will like say it's dark, you need to get home. But most importantly, the teachers, I remember one teacher at Sanders Clyde, she was just very special. And she really kind of like, like poured her soul into me to like say that I could be anything that I wanted to be. And so I always let that resonated. And then, we had like community centers that just had things for us to do, like kind of keep us safe. We kind of knew that we lived in a bad area, but we felt safe at that community center. And so that's what I always remember. And I always wanted to give back. There was one lady named Miss Shirley Cornell and Miss Mary Moutry. I call them icons because, Miss Pam, these people, they kind of like was like second parents to us, they kind of kept us out of trouble and let us know that we could do anything that we wanted to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just going to ask you about who were some of those icons that you grew up with. Ms. Mary Moultrie being one of the biggest ones from over there. We have some information about her within our archives at the Avery. I'm going to toss that out there as a selfless plug. But yes, you grew up around a lot of icons over there. What did you take from them? You said you thought you knew that you grew up inside of a neighborhood that may not have always been the safest, but you always felt safe. What did you take from those people who helped mold you to who you are today?
Well, I took from them their strength. Um, they just said that nobody's better than we are and that we can, be whatever we wanted to do. And they just kind of like just let us know that it was okay. Like Miss Mary Moutry, it was years later that I knew she was part of the strike. So this is why I say our history is so important to us. To me, she was just Miss Mary Moutry. She was just, something comforting for me to go to and, someone to talk to who made things all right for me. So, it's just really interesting to know that we had so many icons like St. Julian Divine, that Philip Simmons, I mean, like he was a kind, gentle soul that always was at the center, that you just take for granted these things that you just don't know your history.
And so as we're talking about the East Side, let's go ahead and put some boundaries on it. So because when we think of the East Side, us being from Charleston, we know what the East Side is. If you know Charleston, you know what the East Side is. But can you just describe for us what the boundaries of the East Side would be?
We go from Mary Street all the way down to Stewart, but the city recognizes it as Hugie Street, but we stop at Stewart Street. And we go to Meeting all the way back to East Bay Street or Morrison Drive. So that is our East Side. So we house within our boundaries all of the housing authorities, at least 2 separate entities of it. And we're proud of that.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of the staple landmarks within the East Side that you would consider?
Well, I always consider Philip Simmons Museum. A lot of people don't know that he actually lived in that museum, and that's a great gem. And I really always wanted to like make sure that we had like a historical landmark in front of that, and I'm still working on that. And I hope, when I'm gone, somebody will take on that and make sure that, we do him right, that we have that historical landmark right in front of his house. I always think of St. Julian Divine Center as a nice landmark, to have something named after one of our first city councilmen. That is a great thing. And I think they did as well. I'd like to see it be used more and more resources poured into that. C.A. Brown, which is now known as Trident Technical School. Something little known that our neighborhood has never forgotten about C.A. Brown. You will still see those C.A. Brown shirts around here, and you will still see that strong alumni. So we have Wilmot J. Frazier, what is now, just an empty shell, but we would like to see that, rejuvenated and keep that name and let that name live on. And then we have our beautiful parks. We have Martin Park, we have Philip Simmons Park, we have Hampstead, Mall, we have Miss Mary Mini Park. So we just have a beautiful neighborhood, and we have at least 3 I guess, long time standing stores. We got the Spot 47 that's mainly, I think it's maybe 66 years old. and it's still in the same spot. And then we have Miss Mary's Sweet Shop, and then we have Earl Brown Store. So, these are little corner stores that made it through all of that.
Mm-hmm. Many different generations, many decades.
Yeah.
Right, that's been going on throughout the Charleston's history. They've made it, and there's a reason why they made it. We're going to get to that in a second as well. Um, so, how as the CEO of the ECDC, can you talk a little bit more about the housing that we, how many longtime homeowners that we have over there? What is the situation with renters coming in? But let's talk a little bit more about the people who've been there. How would you describe how would you describe the amount of residents who have been there for a long time? How many houses have you? How many people have you seen moving out lately? Can you just give us a little bit of update on that?
So the East Side has lots of homeowners. I think the one that's causing me most concern of homeowners of color. Like Miss Flowers. Miss Flowers has lived in her house for 87 years. Miss Davis, Livable Davis, she's 95. She's lived there all her life. So those things we're concerned about, about these, longtime homeowners, and want to make sure that, they don't lose their homes to heirs property. We're in danger of that. And if heirs property don't get us, with all the new development in our area, we're in danger of losing our insurance on these, historical house. Our area is not deemed historical, but our houses are deemed historical. So we're not allowed to do all the things that others can do to their houses. They can make additions, they can change the window size, as long as they get the BAR's consent. But we are held to another standard. We have to, replace what was originally there. And it gets difficult for us, and it's very expensive for us. Another thing that we're in danger of is the taxes. People are losing their houses over taxes. And even though you have a year and a day to pay the taxes, a lot of people are unaware that they can pay their taxes in installment. So we just want to make sure that we educate people to make sure that they have the most up-to-date information so that they can be informed. And then we also have people just sending us information. I think they send it to everybody, but it's most concerning to people of color because we don't really understand what they're sending to us. They send us information that they're buying our houses and they have a set amount, and maybe somebody may be a little late on paying their taxes and they think their houses are being sold. And so, I just don't want them to sign something that they're not supposed to do. So even if somebody want to sell their house, we want to make sure that they get their house appraised so that they can get the true value of their house.
Mm-hmm. And now we're getting into the conversation of a lot of the predatory practices that are going on with some of our elderly or older living residents on the East Side. Can you talk to me a little bit about your situation with getting some of these letters or whatnot, or any letters or phone calls that have been going on the East Side that you have witnessed or been able to?
So I think they give them to everybody, but I think it's most concerning to our elderly people because, if somebody calls you, an elderly person at like 9 o'clock at night, that's disarming to them because one, they're not really used to getting a lot of calls. Two, they may be on medication, it's kind of foggy for them, and they're wanting them to conduct business. I just think these people know that that's public information. They know that how old that person is. They did their research, and they're talking to these people. These people have even, showed up at their doorstep, wanting to talk to them. And I think that is just going too far.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about the letters, what would the letter usually look like, and what would it say?
Let's see. I think that they have one. So it looks like an actual. It has your information. It has your property address. It says basically it gives you a time limit to sign it. They say that they're going to give you $1,000 or $5,000. And they're going to, if it's approved, they're going to give you the rest of the money.
Mhm.
What often happens if somebody is not knowledgeable and they sign that, they may or may not get the $1,000, depending on, if the person has visited them and talked to them and got their signature before. So if they got their signature before, they just sold their house and may not get any monies. And that's concerning because we face many challenges here. Um, Education wise. And so we just want to make sure that we educate the community because during the pandemic, we've all been shut in. We're all behind in mortgages and rent and stuff like that. And so we just want to make sure that people have the most up-to-date information to, make in tune decisions about their homes.
Right. So, with these letters, like you said, they look very official, and obviously on its head, you're saying this is a very predatory practice that they're going for. And for anybody who's out there, we'll get a copy of the letter, redact anything we need off of it, just so we can make people aware of the type of practices that are going on. But how many people how many homes have we lost on the east side as of now?
So I don't know. I think last count was like 89, and maybe more. Um, that's just homes that people own, not stating the, people who rent homes that are being displaced, on a weekly basis.
Okay.
Monthly.
Okay. So, and when we talk about losing their homes, obviously, if they leave from the east side, they have to go somewhere. Give us a little bit more information about how once they leave from the east side, we know most people are going to work
Most
down.
people go a little further out, like North Charleston, Somerville, Mounts Corner. And then if they're living in the city, it costs them a hardship because, then they have to pay for transportation. Or another hardship is their children might still be attending school downtown. So now you got to figure out how you get your kids to school, and now you got to figure out how you go to work. So how does it snowball out of control? Well, it's still a pandemic. People are on abbreviated schedules. People make it all the way down there. If they have to be there 6 o'clock, that means they have to take an Uber because, maybe the bus makes too many stops to get them there at 6 o'clock. And then when they get to their job, they may find out that they're on an abbreviated schedule. So they're thinking they're working 6 or 8 hours today, and now they're only working 4. So now they have to figure out, okay, I just spent what, $30 or $40 getting to work, and now I'm only working 4 hours, and now I have to take the bus back. I still have a child that I have to pick up from school, and it just kind of snowballs and gets to be too much for some people sometimes. It's very stressful out here right now.
Absolutely. And one thing when we released our disparities report, the state of racial disparities in Charleston County, 2000 to 2015, we made sure we noted that you can't talk about one disparity without talking about the other. You have to, once you start talking about one, if you start talking about education, you're automatically going to start talking about transportation. You're talking about transportation, you're going to be talking about policing. You talk about policing, you're going to be talking about home ownership and income. All these things are one big snowball, as you said, that are that basically are moving together. Recently, we've been seeing a lot of conversation about the policing aspect on the east side. Um, what are your thoughts on the over militarization of the east side so far, and placing more police over there to basically claim that they're trying to make it safer?
Well, I understand that they're trying to make it safe. I just wish that we would all have equitable services. So sometimes when we need the police, like for livability issues or parking issues, we don't get those kind of response that we need to have. And then on other issues, sort of like crime, I think everything can be improved. But we just have to sit down and talk more and find better solutions on how we can do it. Like right now, we have people selling, loose cigarettes and, drug paraphernalia to our children. So how do we work together and get some of those things solved? Like, how do we get corner stores from stop doing those kind of things? And how do we, instead of having a police on every corner, how do we get them to speak to us and, come to some collaborative? Now, I'm going to be fair. They do come to our community meetings. And, the pandemic has put a strain on us a lot that we're not able to communicate as much. But those things are things that we were working on before the pandemic. And certainly I'm concerned about our children and want to make sure that they are safe at all times. During the pandemic, we see in the housing authority an uptake in crime. Oftentimes it's people that don't live in the area that come in the area and create these things. How do we educate or form partnerships with the housing authority to make sure that everybody's safe so that we don't have to have all this extra policing that we're seeing and have all these shootings that we're seeing happening in our community?
Absolutely. And I'm jumping from topic to topic, but let's get a little bit more on the housing authority since you just talked about it. Over the course of about the last 15 to 20 years, we start seeing the housing authority moving towards not privatizing, but losing more of the public options for it, to say the least. What do you think the future of the housing authority on the east side being so far?
Well, I think we need to make a more assertive effort to educate our parents, our community, and our residents that live there. There's something called the rental assistance demonstration. So what it is that they're going to do mixed housing. So basically, if you have 500 housing in one area, they're either going to go up, according to them at one of their meetings, they're trying to renovate it. They're either going to let things stay the same or they're going to make those buildings, high rise. So what has to happen is you need so many people making one type of income, another person making a middle kind of income, and then you have the low income. So I guess the first example of it would be the Grace Homes. That's 66 apartments. And so I don't know how many people that they're using. Last check, it was supposed to be 16 people that was supposed to be affordable. And when we say affordable housing, we need to put language that everybody can understand. Like, what is the rent going to be? Is it going to be $1,300? Is it going to be $1,500? Because that's what we understand. We don't understand the word affordable because in our mind, rent on the east side could go as high as $2,500. So we need to know when you say affordable to us, what is affordable? You just need to break it down. A 1-bedroom is going to cost this much. A 2-bedroom is going to cost this much. And that's what we need to start moving away from the word affordable because it's very misleading to our people. And I just really want to make sure that we educate them. If they're taking these vouchers, they need to understand how long they have to use the vouchers. Sometimes it's 60 days, sometimes it's 30 days. You need to know. And then you also need to ask, wherever the housing complex that you're living at, if you can't find housing in that allotted time, is there an extended, any type of extension that will be allowed? And you need to know that because what's happening to people is they get these vouchers and the background checks go as far more than 10 years now. Mm-hmm. So you may put in an application for some place, but they hadn't done the background. So I would wait until I get that background check and say, I got that place. Because, if you don't get the background check, you just lost that apartment. And if your time has ran out on your voucher, then now you're out of a place to stay if they have not extended it. And I think most of the time they extended maybe an additional 30 days. I don't know, but that should be a conversation that we should have with the housing authority so that everybody is in tune to know what's going on. And I implore everybody, make time to go to these meetings. Do not brush that off. You brush that off, that could mean, one step closer to homelessness for you and your children. I mean, if you can't find it. And homelessness doesn't mean you're living, outside. It means that you may have to rent a hotel. There's different definitions of homelessness now. So I just want to make sure that we educate our people in the community so that they understand what they're getting into when they accept vouchers. It could be a great thing for some people, a new start for some, but for people with families, you just really need to be very careful.
Exactly, and that's what I really wanted to get into. The announcement, I guess today or yesterday, about the housing authority looking to rebuild and renovate a lot of the public housing within Charleston. Um, Once they have to rebuild and renovate, they have to displace them, and then when you come back, we've seen this happen with the Calhoun homes up in North Charleston. You come back and say, okay, you have the first dibs. So up in North Charleston, excuse me. You have first dibs of getting an apartment, but then you come back and say, well, I can't afford this apartment. Well, you have first dibs, but you can't afford it. So
Exactly.
else. So yeah, exactly right. We absolutely need to attend these meetings and find out exactly what their plans are. Yes, we do need to make the homes more livable for the people who are there already. But then we don't want them to send us out and then not have it be able to be for us when it's actually open and ready for us to be there.
I'm going to make you laugh. People are still waiting. Remember when they removed the Cooper River Bridge?
Yeah.
And they said that they were going to oh, we're going to replace these homes and we're going to have people come back and stuff like that. I had a community meeting, last year sometime, and somebody said, so when are they going to offer the people to come back? You can't do that. They cannot do that. Let's be clear. They can't single out and say, oh, you come back, you come back, you come back. So those people aren't coming back. People are still waiting to come back from the Cooper River Bridge. And you're right. Once you might be leaving here paying like maybe $800, and when you come back, it's $1,400. So that's a big jump from where you was. So yes, you got the first dibs to come back, but families are like doubling and tripling up just to try to pay rent.
Exactly. And that goes into a conversation that needs to be had about the type of industries that are families and homeowners within the East Side are working in. So we know we have the ports very nearby with the ILA, a very strong ILA close. We have a very strong hospitality industry. What are the industries that they are working in, and are they actually making a livable wage?
I guess we have a mixed bag of everything here. So we do have people that own their own business because the neighborhood has been gentrified. People own their own business, and there we do have people who are middle class, affluent, and then we have some of our people of color who are retired teachers. Some people work in the hospitality, some people work for the city. So we have a mixed bag, and some people even work for the ILA. But the people who are most, I guess, that we should have most concern for is the people who work in the hospitality industry. As they keep saying, affordable housing, I heard them throw a term called workforce housing. And what does that mean? So all these terms that we really, as a community, don't really understand what it means to us. Please put a dollar figure on it. So if workforce housing is going to be $1,000, we need to know it's $1,000 for one bedroom. If it's going to be, $1,400 for two bedroom, we need to know that. So I think if we speak in clear language, people can understand and make, informed decisions. But the minimum wage needs to come up. I mean, there's still people making $9 an hour, and some people making even less. So, if you cut their hours, it makes it very hard for them to really live someplace. And even if they're doubling up, and if they're all making the same amount of money, it can be difficult for them. And those are necessary jobs in our economy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not demeaning those jobs in any form or fashion. But I'm just saying that we all need to be conscious that we need to all do the right thing and, make it so that everybody can just coexist.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think that's a perfect transition into the ECDC, the East Side Community Development Corporation. Tell us about the organization. Tell us when it was founded, and give us a little bit of the history of the organization.
Okay, great. So, so it has a long history. We were founded in 2003, but we got it from our predecessor, which was the Eastside Neighborhood Council. which I was told, because I used to be in high school and I used to, I guess I used to be an intern for Miss T.C. Drayton, and throwing out another old name out there, that they were one of the ones that got the first draw from the CBG block grants. But anyway, ECDC was founded in 2003, and where our hope was just to be a resource for our community and to get our community back together and, revitalize our community. We have made some strides, but, just not enough. We're a small organization, grassroots organization. We've improved in crime, but, there's still always room for improvement. We still haven't made the mark on affordable housing that we would like to. We have one transitional housing above our building, but we just really need resources. We've made great strides in partnering with people who can help us get our information out, but we feel that we could do more and want to do more. As I prepare to leave, I'm hoping my next person who step in my shoes will, really come up with some housing that will, encompass people who work in, the hospitality industry and not leave them out. Yes, teachers and firemen need housing too, but they do too. And the most oftentimes these people have 2+ kids. So we really need to just pay attention and just try to make sure that we all have something for all involved. We still have our neighborhood organization where we just had a meeting last night where we dealt with issues with, street sweeping, residential parking, and BAR concerns. So we want to always be a resource to the community. Right now, what we are doing, we have a learning hub. We also do things with computers. We make our office available for people who need computer needs. We help with due unemployment, workforce, help people look for jobs. And we help with virtual interviews, resume building. So we have a small team, but I think we have a good team. So we hope to have more volunteers help us out.
What are the resources that you need to be better for the future? And one, everybody needs funds, so we're going to get to.
We're going to need funds. Yes, we're going to need funds, but also right now we're looking for somebody to do our computer classes right now. We have somebody, but they can only do part-time. Our elderly people are willing to come back out for the computer classes. They want to learn how to do the Zoom. Often they need somebody to show them how to get an email. They need to know how to do, connect to their doctors, order their medicines and stuff like that. And then also we want to connect with the schools again. Parents need to know how to, look into their kids' classroom and check their grades and communicate with the schools. So we want to be a resource to, our community, because we feel that this digital age is not going away and we're really far behind with that.
All right. So this has been great, and we're gonna go on for a little bit longer. But what type? I know you did some type of virtual learning last year with during the pandemic. Can you talk a little bit about that program and how you were able to step in a very critical time during one of the most tumultuous school years I've ever seen in my life?
So what happened was, we applied for all these grants and we got denied for all the grants, and we only have one computer and we needed more computers. We saw that our college kids needed to, connect with their colleges to do tests, and, they needed printing done. Even our school age kids, they needed to connect with their schools. So what we were able to do was we connected with Representative Wendell Gilliard, JC and Associates, and other people that helped us do a GoFundMe page, and we got some computers in here. We met Brianna Thomas. She helped us renovate the place, and so it's what you see now. So we were able to do a learning lab. Most of the people didn't have Wi-Fi, or if they had Wi-Fi, it wasn't strong Wi-Fi. So we're able to open up the Wi-Fi to our community for free. And we allow them to come in here and use the Wi-Fi and our computers for free.
Perfect. And with that, how did you see the pandemic affecting our children on the east side? It was across the city. It was very draining and hurtful for a lot of our students. But how did you particularly see it affect the children on the east side?
Well, we knew that people were trying to do their lessons via phone. That's kind of hard to try to turn pages and do things on the phone when you have limited access to Wi-Fi. So we saw that first. Then teachers were giving packets home, and kids would mess up on the packets, or they just needed printed copies of the packet. And they were sending it to emails. Parents kind of knew how to get to the email, but wasn't sure how to get to the email. So we helped them open their emails, and we printed out packets that was sent to the emails. So while everybody was focusing on feeding the community, which was needed, we just saw that they were missing the link of the Wi-Fi, and the children needing access to the Wi-Fi, our children needing the materials to use it, like their Chromebooks and just links to be connected to the teachers.
Right, exactly. So that's when we start talking about the digital divide with a lot of our children who live within our communities. Recently, I want to say it was a few days ago, I saw on the Post and Courier that a lot of the cities parks receive Wi-Fi, receive open and free Wi-Fi. Did we see that in any of our parks on the east side?
Okay, so let me be clear. We did get some Wi-Fi. We advocated and we got some Wi-Fi buses, which was very helpful to us. They sent some buses at Martin Park and Shaw Center. And then Martin Park has Wi-Fi. But we still need Wi-Fi, at St. Julian Divine. They have Wi-Fi, but it's not enough that we can share with our community. We still need Wi-Fi, and I'm told last night that they have Wi-Fi at Philip Simmons Park. Well, if there's Wi-Fi at Philip Simmons Park, then we need to know that there's Wi-Fi at Philip Simmons Park so that the community can take advantage of it. Because we have elderly people that are on fixed income that could be using that Wi-Fi. It's not just the children, it's the community, it's the people who may be on fixed income. There's some people who don't need Wi-Fi, granted, but there are people who desperately need Wi-Fi and be connected to the outside world, like our elderly. Elderly people were just afraid of the pandemic and was not coming out. If you did not give them a call, they did not know what was going on. So now that we have Wi-Fi, and if Philip Simmons Park has Wi-Fi, we can give them equipment that they can use to use the Wi-Fi, and teach them how to use the Wi-Fi via their cell phones.
Mm-hmm. And tell them that it's, like you said, tell them that it's there, then also having to teach them how to use it. Because if it's there, nobody knows how to use it, then what's the point of it? But then
that was another big problem. People had computers and stuff like that, but didn't know how to use them. And so that's why the computer class is so important.
Right. And I mean, it makes me think also, is the Wi-Fi signal strong enough to make it into people's houses, or do they actually have to come directly into the park? We have so many issues that we have to get into. It was a great announcement, but we also have other things that we have to tackle so it can be useful for all of our community members that it should be affecting. While we're here, let's go ahead and just get everything else out on the table. Are there any other concerns that you're seeing happening within the East Side community, apart from the gentrification, which is one of the biggest issues?
I want us to be included in the flooding. Our people have been dealing with the flooding for as long as I can remember, especially the poor people on the housing authority. I can't tell you how many times they had to start over because there's mold in the house, or it flooded and they had to go wear their stuff. So, and not just them, just regular homeowners that have to deal with flooding. So, I would like for us to see some of that flooding money come to our neighborhood. I understand that they want beautiful parks, and I understand the parks want to address the storm water. But if it does not reach within our community, then we need to come up with a better plan. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a good plan to have, but then we need an additional plan so that we can give our residents some, some relief. We've been living with flooding for a long time, and we know we still have to. But as we see them make plans all over the city for walls and other areas, we just want to be included in that plan to make sure that you're not leaving us out of that plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and end on a happy note, because I will go off on a 20-minute tangent about environmental racism and everything, but we're gonna get there another day, another time. Yeah. The resources that ECDC can provide for the community. We talked about the computer labs. We talked about a lot of the training. What other resources do you have that you can offer, and how can people get connected with the ECDC to help out?
Well, like I said, you know about our computer lab and our Wi-Fi and stuff like that. But thanks to you guys and your partnership, we're able to give people a nice healthy bag every third Saturday. So thank you, Low Country Action Committee. Also, we have our Eastside Cares, which we serve at least 65 seniors a hot meal. And so we're only able to do that once a month now because of funds. But we welcome any funds or anybody who wants to help out in this endeavor. So those are some of the resources we have. We always have our community meetings. We just started back having our community meetings, and I think we had a nice, healthy community meeting. Like I said, some of the things we're addressing is the street sweeping, residential parking, as always, the flooding. We're also checking on the schedule for the pools for our children to make sure that they have some place to, cool off in the summer. So, and programs.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this has been well. First and for lastly, tell us how people can give you funds. We all need the funds. Tell us how they can.
So you can cash app us at $ Eastside CDC, or you can go to our webpage, www.ecdcorp.org, and hit donation button, or you can simply mail it to us. We really need your help and we appreciate it. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if somebody wanted to come on and volunteer as a computer teacher, they should just contact you. Or
actually, they can go on our website, and our telephone number is 843-952-7193. And this Saturday, we'll be cleaning up our neighborhood. We'll meet at Martin Park at 9 a.m. and we're cleaning up our neighborhood for 2 hours. Then we're celebrating our Earth Day with our children, and we'll be at Philip Simmons Park from 3 to 4 p.m. And then we'll end the day with a nice movie at Martin Park at 8 p.m. So we do a lot in the community. And please do not forget, on the 13th, with our partnership with Liberty Doctors and Low Country Action Committee, we will be at Baker and Brewer on the 13th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and first time for COVID vaccines. So that is very important. I can't stress how important that is to our community. And they will take anybody that is 18 and older. So, and first shot is, always welcome. Drive up is welcome, and second shots. So please, that is the Pfizer vaccine. Please come out at Baker and Brewer on the 13th. COVID vaccines. Thank you.
That's amazing. Ms. LaTonya, we do appreciate you and everything that you're doing. We know the legacy that you will leave for the ECDC and as well as with the East Side. Will be a very hard shoes to fill, but we appreciate everything that you've been doing over there. If you need anything from the Avery, let us know. The Low Country Action Committee, we really do appreciate you. We do have a few events going on, as I mentioned earlier, over the next couple weeks. Because once a week, we're going to be doing something, looking at the East Side community and how we can help out. As far as with the Low Country Action Committee and Avery Research Center. I'm pulling up every event because there's a lot of them. So we have on, trying to get them in order. On next Thursday, May 13th, we have an heirs property and wills and estate planning event. Like
Very important.
very, very,
Do
very
not miss that. Everybody on here tell somebody. I
absolutely,
don't care if they're on the east side, west side. Everybody tell somebody. That is Zoom and in person. That's so important. I can't stress to you enough
absolutely.
because people are losing their properties. Please, please, please share that information. That's so, so important.
Absolutely. And I also would like to stress it's not just for the older people. We need younger people to understand this as well. Will and estate planning, if something is left to you, you need to be able to know how to take advantage of it as well as to protect it. Or, like I said, we have a lot of, they're just not preying on the older folk, they are preying on younger people as well and putting, praying to put families against each other, pit families against each other. So we definitely need everybody out for that. The link will be up, I want to say tomorrow for that. So get everybody to register. If not, it will be on our YouTube, just as this will be. On May 15th, the Low Country Action Committee will also be doing another food bag, grocery bag for essential items. You can look for more information on how to sign up if you are definitely in need or to actually donate to towards that cause. On May 27th, we also have a community archiving event with our own manager of archival services, Aisha Heikel. Um, that is also very important. We need to, in order for us to remember our history, we need to be able to preserve it. So we have a great event with Miss Aisha Heikel, and I don't believe I'm missing anything. Like I said, we're doing a lot. But if I did miss anything, all of the events will be up on our Facebook page as well as our Twitter page, our website. You can reach us at the avery.cofc.edu. You can donate there as well. So we always look forward to working with you. Like I said, we are a resource here for you. I apologize. I did miss one. The land use and gentrification event on May 20th. And I also I have to give a shout out to Heirs Property for helping us out with with a few of these events. They have been a great resource for the Low Country for many years, and we look forward to always working with them as well. So
And
that
please stress to other people that young people need wills and estate planning as well. Please stress to them that they're welcome.
absolutely, absolutely. And can you go ahead and repeat the Cash App one more time and how people can donate?
Okay, so Cash App is the $ East Side CDC. Also, you can go to www.ecdcorp.org/donation to donate or simply mail to 60 America Street, Charleston, South Carolina, 29403. Attention ECDC.
Thank you. This was amazing. I really do appreciate you. Like I said, we're always here. We'll always be the resource for you. Also, got to talk about bringing that archive over to the Avery as well. So
We certainly have to.
we'll talk about
You
that.
know, we got to share that history with everybody because I think we're small, but I think we're powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our community organizations, especially in Charleston, are the backbone. So we definitely need that. So thank you again. I will talk with you soon, and I appreciate everybody for coming out. This will be on our YouTube and will be available within the next 15 minutes. So definitely share it, and let's get that, keep the East Side strong. All right,
Well,
thank
thank you for having me.
you. Thanks.
Peace.